Every year that I get older, I start looking back at my life and I'm looking at who I was in the past compared to the man that I am now. And have you ever got this feeling where, or this, maybe not this feeling, but like this thought where you're like, you know what? If I could go back in time and tell my younger self, hey man, I would do this differently, or hey man, I wouldn't do this because of X, Y, Z. Like, I would go back and tell my younger self, because if I could avoid some of the mistakes, or if I could study things or learn things differently and prioritize my career over partying, I would more than likely be in a much better place. I might not be in a wheelchair, but I won't know because I can't go in the past. So that's what I want to talk about in this video, is 6 things that I would do differently if I could start over again. Number 1 is going to be study and learn relationship skills early on. This is one of those things where I honestly didn't start studying and learning new relationship materials until I was about 28. I'm 29 now, so it's been about a year that I've really been like hardcore studying on how relationships between men and women, more so the masculine man and a feminine woman, works, okay? Because there's a huge difference between how a man acts, how a man thinks, how a man responds to stuff, and how a woman acts, how a woman thinks, and how a woman responds to stuff. Men are more logical. Women are more emotional. This is why, if you're a man, a lot of the things that women say or do frustrates us because it doesn't make any sense. But women act based on how they feel, whereas men, on the other hand, we are more logical. Like, we're just gonna say, well, listen, I'm not gonna do this because that doesn't make sense to do. Women are gonna say that same thing, but they're gonna fucking beat around the bush and talk in innuendos, and I can't pronounce that word right, and just assume that you know what they mean. So study and learn relationship skills early on. We live in the day and age right now where anybody has access to the internet. Everybody has access to books, to audiobooks, to courses, to YouTube videos, where you can study coaches like myself, coaches like Corey Wayne, Coach Craig Kenneth, Coach Lee, Coach Kyle, How to Beast. There are so many different channels out there that will tell you how relationships work, how a man should act when it comes to interacting with a woman. And a lot of this is based on personal experience and just understanding the difference between men and women. If I could go back in time, in high school, before I got my first girlfriend, likely all the relationships that I've been in from that first girl moving forward would have been much better, much more enjoyable. It's very possible that I would have stayed out of a few of those relationships and I wouldn't have got my heart broken as many times as I've had in my life. Number 2, study sales before everything else. So if you are an adult or a teenager and you want to start a business or a side hustle because you want to make more money, like for me, I'm a marketer. I started studying marketing very heavily, basically like my whole life, and sales was more on the back burner. But if I could go back in time and rearrange the way that I do stuff, I would learn sales skills first, and then marketing and psychology and human behavior and everything else that I studied after that. The reason why is if you could have all the marketing knowledge in the world. You could know so much marketing knowledge. You could be one of the best marketers in the world. But if you can't sell somebody on why they should work with you, you're never going to get a client, you're never going to make money, you're never going to take that business off, and you're going to fail in business because you can't sustain the income that it's going to take to have a business, and it's going to fail. It doesn't matter what it is that you sell, what it is that you want to do. If you can't sell somebody to buy from you, you're never going to get far in life. Everything in life, whether it's talking to a girl, whether it's getting a job, I don't know if going to college applies, but if it's starting a business, everything in life is sales. And I like to look at that. Everything in life is also a numbers game. You're going to get told no way fucking more than you're going to get told yes. But the better you get at selling something, the less no's you're going to get before you get a yes. Number 3, this is going to be for like my guys that are in like their 18 to like early 20s. Focus on your career over partying. Now, if you're in college right now and you're in a fraternity, or you're just, you're in college, you go out and party all the time, well, you're in that phase of life where that's kind of why you go to college. Unless you're like, there are very few degrees that I would say that you need to go to college for. College is a business. I said this in one of my videos. If you're going to go to college because you want to get a business degree, you're going to learn how to start a business from a college professor who likely doesn't own his own business. Why would you want to learn from somebody like that? You wouldn't. Going back to that, if you're in the college phase and you're partying all the time, as long as you're still doing your schoolwork and you graduate, then that's fine, man. As long as you can do that, by all means, go out and party, man. But I'm talking to the guys like me, people that didn't go to school. So if you just graduated high school and then maybe you went to community college for a year like I did and that's it, or you didn't go to school at all, focus on your career instead of going out and partying and just wanting to hook up with girls or playing video games all day or smoking weed or doing nothing with your life. I'm 29 right now, and if I could go back in time and I could look at myself and say, hey dude, you're going out and partying all the time. Stop doing this. You're literally wasting your life. You're gonna realize the older you get, the faster time starts going. Your life is actually a lot shorter than you're gonna think it is. So if you're sitting here, you're going out and partying every day, you're spending money on alcohol instead of spending it on education, and then you're also gonna feel like shit the next day because you're going out partying and you're damaging your body, and because you're going out partying and just trying to hook up with people and you're wasting time, that time, you're never gonna get that time back. So fast forward a couple years from now, where let's say that you're in a position where you have to move out, or your bills get more expensive, or something happens and you need more money, but you don't have the job that's paying you enough money to afford your new life. That's where things are gonna start getting stressful. A lot of teenagers, especially men, because we don't mature until later on, need to understand this. I'm telling you, partying, like men's life get better the older they get because they start maturing more and they just turn into men. Like their finances go up, then they start working on their body, they get more mature. But right there, your finances. Women want to be with the man that's safe and that can provide. It's the masculine job to be able to provide for the family. So the younger, if you're one of those guys that complain oh, women only date older men. Well, I don't agree with that, but for the most part, there's reasons why. These guys tend to have their shit together. And if you would have started younger, there's so many different millionaires out there right now that are in their younger 20s. It's never been easier before to get financial freedom earlier. Just sell a digital product. Learn how to sell stuff online. All right, number 4. This one's huge, guys. Practice social skills early. This one's especially going to be for my Gen Z kids, the younger. I'm a millennial, so if you're underneath the millennial, this is going to be for you guys right here. And you know what? Even if you're a millennial watching this, likely you've never done this, and that's going to be practice your social skills early on. When I was younger, I was taught by my parents, stranger danger. But the older I get, the more social skills I learn and practice and improve on, the more strangers I meet, the more girls I date, the more business I build, the more I realize if you want anything in life, you have to get good at talking to strangers. You can't rely, if you want to get a girlfriend, learn how to talk to girls in person. Don't rely on dating apps. If you want to build a business, learn how to pitch clients and then learn how to sell those clients, which brings us back to earlier, learn sales early so you can sell those clients to build a business. See? Learn social skills. So this is easy, man. You're going to learn that when it comes to social skills, people for the most part are not going to go out of their way to say hi to new people. Where change is uncomfortable and meeting someone new is uncomfortable because that's new, and we all have a fear of rejection, and we're not going to know if someone's going to like us or not. But I'm telling you from experience, as a 29-year-old guy in a wheelchair, someone that has no problem when it comes to talking to anybody, life is so much more enjoyable when you can get really good at meeting new people. When you get really good at being rejected by women, knowing that, okay, well, she said no, someone's gonna say yes eventually, or this client told me no, or this future client, these 20 clients I pitched told me no. Well, one might tell me yes. I'm just gonna keep going out, pitching people, talking to people. I'll make friends, I'll get clients, and eventually I'll get a girlfriend. That's just how things work. But you have to get really good at talking to strangers, and it's so easy. I can tell you from experience, it doesn't really matter what you say to somebody. They're either gonna like you or they're not gonna like you. And if they don't like you, that's not personal, it's just something about them that's you know what, I don't really like you. Move on, go talk to somebody else. We want to be with people that want to be with us. We want to hang out with people that are enjoyable to hang out with, easy to get along with, and there's people that are easy to get along with and something else I can't think of. That's the kind of people we want to hang out with. But you're never going to hang out with these people. You're never going to meet these people. You're never going to be able to do these cool things with new people if you don't get good at practicing social skills early. Someone like myself, if you want to work with me one-on-one in coaching, I can help you learn how to do all this. It's not hard. Repetition is the mother of skill. The more times you go out and practice meeting strangers, talking to girls, the easier it's going to get over time. But again, it's called exposure therapy. If you're new to this, you gotta go out and actively practice it, or you're never gonna get better at it. Number 5, learn how money works. Okay? They do not teach you this in high school, at least not that I remember. They don't teach you about debit, they don't teach you about credit, they don't teach you how business works, how cash flows, they don't teach you about any of this in school. You have to learn this from other people who know about this. So I'm going to recommend the sooner you can start studying finances and books on money and books on business, building businesses, buying businesses, how money works, how the stock market works, blah, 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 everything business, I'm going to recommend that you start studying this as soon as possible. I remember when I was younger, I think in my 20 or 21, I remember there was a time where I had 2 different credit cards or 3 different credit cards. One Chase, one American Express, and then one American Express Gold card. I paid the Gold card off every single month, but I remember those 2 other credit cards I started using to buy expenses. So expenses would be like Peter the Rabbit, or an iPhone would technically be an expense unless you know how to use it to make money. Like my computer, my mouse, anything that doesn't make you money is going to be an expense. So a computer or a phone can be an asset if you know how to use it to make money. But like my speakers right here, or unfortunately my dog, that would be considered an expense. My dog is not going to make me money unless he is a show dog. He's a Serbian German Shepherd from a show line. So if I were to train him to go and win shows, I'm sure he would then be an asset because I could win something from that show. But this is why we study money early on, because a lot of people, when they get someone else's money, it's called OPM, other people's money, so credit cards, so younger people especially, when you get someone's credit card, you get a line of credit. In your head, you're like, fuck yeah, I got like $1,000 extra. I'm gonna go and spend this and I'll just pay it back over time, because you have that cash up front. You think it's money that you can go out and spend all willy-nilly, and then you're gonna go and pay it back over time, but you don't realize that fucking interest on that card is going to like triple what you owe them by the time you end up paying that off. I think there's a statistic where it's like, I don't know the loan, like loans on a house, like 6% on a house or something like that. If you buy like a $400,000 house for 30 years and you've got like a 6% interest, over the course of like 15 years, you're basically going to be paying double what your house is worth. This is why I tell people, if you're going to buy a house, like I live in a house, but I rent this house. If you're going to buy a house, you want to make sure that you pay like $1,000 above what you pay. So if I'm paying, let's just say $3,000 for a house, well, you want to pay $4,000 because you're going to cancel out that interest. That's how money works. You're not going to let that interest stack up, and therefore you're not going to be paying the bank way more money than what you actually owe them. The last one, arguably the most important one, is going to be practice the new material that you learn. What I mean by that is this. I didn't have a good way to say that, but if I have a book right here called How to Win Friends and Influence People. In this book, it basically teaches you how to talk to people in a way where they enjoy answering the questions you ask them. People like talking about themselves. However, it's not enough to just read the book and then not go out and practice that, right? So if you are somebody that wants to go meet new people, but when you meet new people, you talk about yourself, majority of the time, you're likely going to see that this person doesn't enjoy talking to you because you're just talking about yourself. So when you go to talk to other people and you start asking them questions, especially when it comes to women, When you go talk to other people and you ask them questions and you're curious about them, like where are you from? What do you do from work? Do you enjoy what you do for work? Do you enjoy where you're from? What do you like about where you're from compared to Florida? What do you do for fun? Why do you like coming to the gym? Like when you ask people questions about themselves, they're gonna think that you're curious about them. They're gonna like you because people like talking about themselves. However, like I said, if you read this book, or let's say that you work with a coach like me that can help you work on social skills like I just talked about earlier. I can teach you how to go and talk to new people, how to go and meet girls that you don't know. But if you work with me, but you don't actually go out and apply the material that I'm giving you, that I'm teaching you, you're never gonna get better at that. I made this mistake in the past. I have a big ass bookcase and bookshelf in there, like 150 plus books. And a lot of those books I just read, but I never actually went out and practiced what I was reading. And so what's that? There's a phrase right here, like use it or lose it. That applies. If you're gonna learn something new, you have to go out and practice it. Repetition is the mother of skill. If you don't practice, you will forget it, and you're literally just wasting money on this new material that you're trying to learn. If you're a younger man, please take this video to heart, watch it once or watch it twice, 3 times so you can really understand what it was that I was trying to say. This will help you. I promise if I can go back and change these things early on, I would avoid a lot of the mistakes that I've made in my past. And I'm only 29. There's a lot of guys that are gonna watch this that are older than me that can probably agree with some of the things that I'm saying here. So if you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. And listen, if you're a guy that wants to get better at dating and relationships, link in the description for my new book. Same thing, if you want to work with me, one-on-one coaching, link in the description. With that being said, if you are a man that's looking to improve his life, check out this video right here. There's likely a lot of stuff in this video that you're going to want to learn. This is what I do, is I help men learn from my mistakes and learn from the people that I'm learning from doing much better than I am. Passing it on to you is something I enjoy doing. This is my job as a coach. Check out this video. You'll likely learn a few different things. With that being said, guys, hey, see you in the next one.